Elon Musk drops a bombshell. America's future is bleak and terrifying. In a recent interview, Elon Musk made a shocking prediction about the future of America's financial stability. His words will send chills down your spine. What is the shocking truth behind Elon Musk's ominous prediction? What does Musk know that the rest of us don't? The billionaire entrepreneur warned us that the US is heading towards a financial crisis that could be worse than the Great Depression. But the real question is the US really heading towards a worse crisis than the Great Depression? Is it too late to prepare for the worst, or is there still hope for a brighter future? This is a wake-up call that you can't afford to ignore. The fate of America's future is hanging by a thread, and you need to be informed and ready for what's to come. Don't wait until it's too late. Let's find out what Elon Musk knows and get ahead of the curve before it's too late. In a clash of the titans, Elon Musk and Satoshi Nakamoto have given their divergent opinions on the fate of the world. Musk, the visionary entrepreneur, urged for a year of peace without any disastrous global events. However, enigmatic Nakamoto, the creator of Dogecoin, issued a warning on Twitter, claiming that the world should brace for an impending global recession and nuclear apocalypse. Despite the world seeing a decline in COVID-19 cases, Nakamoto continued to fuel the fire by urging people to remain cautious. Musk was not one to back down. He responded to Nakamoto's ominous prediction by stating that the recession would persist until the spring of 24. Musk's foreboding statement came with a warning to prepare for the worst, as the International Monetary Fund has already predicted a slowdown in global growth. With growth expected to slow from 3.4% last year to 2.9% this year, the future seems bleak. Will the world see a glimmer of hope, or are we doomed to witness catastrophic events? The world trembled as the stock performance of Tesla took a dive, sinking to the depths of mediocrity that left investors gasping for air. The visionary Elon Musk, whose predictions are known to shake the foundation of the market, warned of an impending recession that sent shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned traders. The car sector, like a ship caught in a fierce storm, struggled to stay afloat as the recession mercilessly battered its revenue. Tesla, feeling the full brunt of the tempest, was forced to slash its vehicle prices to stimulate demand, but it was like bailing water out of a sinking ship. With unwavering confidence, Musk declared that the United States was still the land of the free, the envy of China and Europe. His voice echoed with pride as he proclaimed, "North America is doing pretty well." But his warnings were dire, for he knew that the current economic winds were treacherous and could change course at any moment. The once mighty China was in shambles, with a financial crisis and a housing meltdown tearing it apart. Europe too was reeling from the high cost of energy, an economic scourge that had sparked protests and unrest. Musk cautioned investors to steer clear of the treacherous waters of margin trading. He warned of the perils of volatile stock markets and the danger of margin loans that could wipe out everything in a flash. With the economy teetering on the brink, rising interest rates threatened to push it over the edge. People were cutting back on spending, unable to cover the mounting costs of purchases made with debt. The economy slowed and inflation reared its ugly head. The rescue strategy was a distant dream, and the future seemed bleak. As interest rates surged to great heights, people are incentivized to squirrel away their hard-earned coins into bonds, money market funds, and other cash-equivalent assets. This, in turn, fuels a saving frenzy among the masses, leaving the economy teetering on the edge of a precipice. Alas, after a 14-year bull run, the American economy stands on the precipice of a devastating recession. The very foundation of the financial world trembles as whispers of economic ruin spreads like wildfire through the land. But lo, amidst the chaos and turmoil, a lone voice rises above the din. Elon Musk, the fearless leader of Tesla, boldly declares that despite an impending downturn in the auto industry, demand for his company's products will remain steadfast and true. In a desperate bid to stay afloat, Tesla has resorted to dramatic measures. The price of some of its models have been slashed by 1 or even 2 digits, leaving the company's profit margins in tatters. Will this bold gambit pay off, or will it be the death knell for this once mighty titan of the industry? Musk commanded that the Federal Reserve Bank, in all its wisdom, must tread with the utmost caution and care as they make decisions that will shape the very fabric of our economy. On not one but 2 separate occasions, he took to the heavens of Twitter to demand that the Fed funds rate be reduced by a staggering 0.25 and 0.5%. As if by divine providence, the white Tesla, the emblem of Musk's great empire, had to take drastic measures in the face of an impending recession. A decision made with a heavy heart yet an unshakable resolve. A decision based on the somber words of Stanley Druckenmiller, who had foretold the inevitable bear market bounce that shook the world on July the 22nd. Indeed, his prophecy came to pass, and the market saw a dead cat bounce. But through it all, Musk stood steadfast, like a true warrior of the financial battlefield. He made a fortune from his trades, a testament to his unerring intuition and boundless ingenuity. The atmosphere was tense as he uttered those cautionary words once again, his words echoing through the room with an eerie foreboding. With a somber tone and a grave expression, he warned that the year 2023 could see a financial crisis of apocalyptic proportions, with devastating consequences for all those who dare to venture into the treacherous waters of the global economy. Elon Musk, a visionary entrepreneur and tech titan, has raised the alarm, drawing eerie parallels to the dire circumstances of the year 2009. As if the prophecy of Musk's warning wasn't alarming enough, renowned financial analyst Cathie Wood has also chimed in, echoing her concerns in a tweet from December the 7th, 2022. Her words are chilling as she reveals, "The bond market seems to be signaling that the Fed is making a serious mistake. At minus 80 basis points, as measured by the 10-year versus 2-year Treasury yields, the yield curve is more inverted now than at any time since the early 80s, when double-digit inflation was entrenched. The world of finance stands on the brink of disaster, and the fate of humanity hangs in the balance." In a moment of careless abandon, she was overheard unleashing a scathing critique of the Federal Reserve. Her voice quivering with indignation, she declared that the Fed was myopically fixated on trailing indications, unable to comprehend the broader picture in the long run. With conviction, Cathie asserted that, typically, the inverted yield curve is pointing to a recession and/or lower inflation than expected. In our view, deflation is a much bigger risk than inflation. Commodity prices and massive retail discounts corroborate this point of view. But the gravest of warning came from a source with a reputation for a keen insight and unwavering candor. In a fateful tweet that reverberated across the financial world, Elon Musk himself declared the inevitability of an incoming recession, his words dripping with certainty and ominous foreboding. And if that wasn't enough to rattle the most steadfast among us, the venerable Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, echoed the same warning with a somber demeanor and dire urgency, declaring the impending recession a very serious issue in October of 2022. Much like Elon Musk, Dimon was unflinching in his conviction that the situation was dire and customers would not be spared the brunt of the recession. Dimon's words were ominous. Europe is already in a recession, and they're probably going to put the US in the same form of recession in 6 to 9 months. The gravity of the situation was not lost on Dimon, who cautioned that the downturn would go from bad to worse in a heartbeat, like a hurricane that leaves nothing in its wake. Dimon's dire predictions were an urgent call to action, a plea for people to brace themselves for the economic storm that was on its way. As the film drew to a close, there was a sense of impending doom, a feeling that the worst was yet to come. But all was not lost, for Musk had a few tricks up his sleeve, and his top suggestions could be the silver lining on this dark cloud. Elon Musk imparted his words of wisdom on the unsuspecting listeners of the All In podcast. With an air of grave seriousness, he warned them to keep their powder dry, stockpile their precious cash, and steer clear from the dangerous waters of margin debt. For those with businesses, he issued a dire warning: trim the fat or face the impending onslaught of a recession. The great Elon Musk himself has already demonstrated this, having ruthlessly cut back at Tesla to weather the storm. But the tempestuous Musk was not done yet. He ominously proclaimed that the boom times would eventually come to an end, and when they did, the fools who had squandered their riches could be the first to suffer. Capitalism was a ruthless master, culling the weak and the ineffective, leaving only the strongest to prevail. Elon Musk's warning about the future of America's financial stability is not something that should be taken lightly. It's important to acknowledge the possibility of a future financial crisis and take proactive steps to protect ourselves and our businesses. Musk's advice to keep a substantial cash reserve and avoid margin debt is something that we should all take seriously. In addition, trimming excess fat from our organizations before a recession hits is a smart move that could help us weather the storm. And if you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends and colleagues. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative content like this. Thank you for watching.